Welcome back to the Challenger Podcast. I'm Dave Glaser in Fort Collins, Colorado. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about the best fitness, nutrition programs to fit your Enneagram type, as well as those limiting beliefs that hold you back. This week's episode is we're going to tie them all together in a solution-oriented podcast episode about the power of habit. If you haven't read this book by Charles Duhigg, please do so. It's an incredible book on how to implement daily habits. But today we're going to combine that philosophy with your personality type from the Enneagram. Welcome back. I wanted to do this particular episode because workouts don't change your life. Meals won't change your life. It's the habits you develop along the way that will change your life. In The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, we learn that lasting change doesn't come from willpower. It comes from understanding how habits actually work. First of all, there's a cue, which is a trigger. There is a routine, which equals behavior, and a reward, what reinforces that behavior. So today I'm breaking down the healthiest habits for each Enneagram type that can build those habits that actually stick to drive real progress in fitness and nutrition to reach your performance goals. Let's dig in. For the type 1, the reformer, the best habit is scheduled check-ins, not constant self-judgment. Here's your cue, a weekly calendar review. Here's the routine that comes from that. Review workouts, meals without moral language. And the reward is a sense of integrity and improvement. Type 1s already track. The habit shift is how they evaluate, how you evaluate your behavior. And why this works is because it replaces perfectionism with progress as the anchor point. Here's an anchor phrase that I want you to tie in with that. Did I move forward? Not, did I do it perfectly? Let's talk about the helper, type 2 on the Enneagram. The best habit for the helper is non-negotiable self-care blocks of time in your calendar. Here's the cue, morning or end of day transitions. Here's the routine, meal prep, walk, or workout before helping others. And the reward is this sense of emotional replenishment, feeling whole. 2s really need habits that protect their energy, not drain them throughout the course of the day, the week, the month, or years. Why this works is serving others stops costing you your health. And the anchor phrase I want you to bring into this process is, I can't pour from an empty cup, which is true for a lot of people, but especially the type 2. Let's talk about the achiever. The best habit for the type 3 on the Enneagram is process-backed tracking instead of outcome obsession. Here's your cue I want you to look for. End of workout or meal. The routine is log behaviors, protein hit, number of steps walked, exercises performed and completed. And here's the reward. You get momentum and confidence. Confidence begets competence, right? Or it's the other way around. Competence begets confidence. Yeah, let me just rephrase that. Type 3s needs to shift from results action to process pride. And why it works? It reduces burnout and it sustains motivation. And in my perspective, it also sustains discipline, which always trumps motivation. The anchor phrase I want 3s to remind themselves of today is, winning today means showing up for myself. Type 4, the individualist, the best habit that fits them is an identity-based ritual, not mood-based decisions. Here's the cue. Do it at the same time each day. And the routine, movement or meal ritual, regardless of your emotion. And the reward, grounding and self-trust comes from this process. 4s don't need more inspiration, they need anchoring. And why it works? Habits create emotional stability instead of depending on it. And the anchor phrase for type 4s is, I act first, feelings will follow. Let's talk about the investigator, the type 5. The best habit for them is simplified defaults. Here's your cue, hunger or workout time. Here's the routine I want you to build, pre-decided meals and workouts. Here's your reward, mental clarity and efficiency. 5s burn out from too many choices. Why this works is less thinking equals more action. And the anchor phrase for a type 5 is, decisions made once save energy forever. Let's talk about the type 6, the loyalist. The best habit for them is consistent structure with external reassurance. Here's their cue, though: daily schedule or reminder. The routine that comes from that is same workout days, same meal timing. And the reward for a type 6 is safety and confidence through the routine. Sixes thrive when routines reduce uncertainty. And why this works is predictability lowers anxiety and it builds self-trust. The anchor phrase for a type 6 is, I don't need certainty, I need consistency. Let's finish off with type 7, 8, and 9. The enthusiast is up first. The best habit is planned flexibility. Here's our cue. Have a weekly planning session with yourself or your partner. Here's the routine that comes from that is schedule indulgences on purpose. Okay, on Thursday night, we're going to have dessert. I'm going to take you out for dessert. The reward is freedom without chaos. Sevens rebel when they feel trapped. And it's best to keep in mind that this will work best for you when structure becomes a container for joy, not a cage. And the anchor phrase is, I can enjoy this because it's planned. Let's talk about the type 8 really quick. My personality type, the challenger. The best habit for us is recovery as a discipline. The cue is post-training or evening wind down. And I was just having a discussion with my jiu-jitsu teammate who coaches the 6 a.m. class, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I do understand that my workouts work best for me in the mornings. Evening workouts are really difficult for me to sustain energy throughout the course of the day in order to have it there for me when I need it in the evening. But also it's this evening wind down routine that I don't get when I work out late. I'm willing to sacrifice that time 2 to 3 days a week in order to reach my goals. So jiu-jitsu is probably the only workout that I'll do in the evening. It just fits me best, right? And the routine that comes from this post-training or evening wind down cue is sleep, mobility, and nutrition for repair. If I work out too late, I'm not able to get that last meal of the day and the recovery meal. I have to rely on a protein shake. And sometimes that means I wake up early, I wake up hungry, and I can't wait till my intermittent fasting begins at 11 a.m. And the reward for us as 8s is strength and longevity because we prioritize recovery as a discipline. 8s don't struggle with effort, they struggle with restraint. And why it works for us is because it reframes rest as power, not weakness. And here's the anchor phrase I want you to take away with today. Recovery keeps me dominant. And coming back from injury really helps me understand that recovery is a benefit. Recovery is reward. When I'm setting aside time to recover from intense workouts, it means that I can get back to the next intense workout healthier, stronger, more dominant. And I really like that anchor phrase. Let's close out today's conversation with type 9, the peacemaker. I just had lunch with my daughter yesterday, so I'm kind of in the connection mode with a type 9 as she showed up pretty authentic yesterday. And it was really a great experience for us to have lunch together. Here's the best habit for a type 9. Tiny daily actions tied to existing routines. Here's your cue as a type 9. Coffee brewing, brushing teeth. The routine is take a walk, stretch, protein first meal. And the reward is momentum and self-belief. 9s don't need intensity, they need initiation. And why this works is small habits bypass resistance and build confidence, getting you out of that self-deprecating mode or the sloth version of a type 9. And the anchor phrase that I want you to attach to is something is better than nothing. That's why yoga is such a great exercise for type 9s. Something is better than nothing. Yoga is very low intensity, it's low impact, and you don't need a lot of energy to go to like a Zen type yoga class or a full stretch. You might, on days when you're feeling better, more energetic, you could go to a hot yoga or you could go to a yoga sculpt class. And that's why yoga is such a great pairing for the peacemaker, the type 9. And here's the big takeaways from The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. We can see that show up in our personal lives, in our work life, and in our own personal lifestyle goals. And the best system is the one that matches how you handle stress, how you seek reward, and how you avoid discomfort. Looking at you 9s, looking at you 2s, looking at you 7s. Your Enneagram type isn't a label, but it is a blueprint. If this episode helped you rethink change, share it with someone who's trying to start over. And remember, small habits done daily beat heroic effort every time. Until next week, this is Dave Glaser in Fort Collins, Colorado, wishing you health and happiness wherever you're at in the world. If this message resonated with you today, please reach out and schedule a free consultation with me. Riseup@fitlifechampions.com. I'll talk to you soon.